From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Jason White. Ontario Premier Doug Ford hopes tomorrow's meeting with the Prime Minister provides an update on strengthening the border. The First Ministers are set to meet virtually, 2 weeks after their last get-together on U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's tariff threat. Trump has warned he'd impose 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico unless the countries stop illegal border crossings and prevent drugs entering the U.S. Meanwhile, U.S. President-elect Trump has called Prime Minister Justin Trudeau the governor of the great state of Canada on social media, and some Canadians think that would not be such a bad idea.
A new Leger poll finds just over 1 in 10 Canadians endorse the idea of becoming the 51st U.S. state, as Donald Trump has suggested. There's higher support among men, the Prairie provinces, and Conservative Party supporters, and stauncher opposition among women and more left-leaning voters. Trump doubled down on the idea on social media today, saying he looks forward to seeing Governor Trudeau again to talk tariffs. The online survey was done over the weekend before Trump's post today. Kyle Duggan, The Canadian Press, Ottawa.
The federal finance minister is not committing to meeting a $40.1 billion target deficit she set for the government last year. Chrystia Freeland did not answer questions about the deficit today, only saying she chose her words carefully. Immigration Minister Mark Miller accuses Quebec's premier of picking on Muslims. François Legault has said his government's looking at whether it can ban prayer in public places. The Quebec government has promised to strengthen secularism in schools after reports of Muslim prayer and other religious practices. The suspect in the killing of an American health insurance company CEO struggled with deputies today and shouted while arriving for a court appearance in Pennsylvania.
And it's completely out of touch. And it's an insult to the intelligence of the American people and the lived experience.
26-year-old Luigi Mangione was arrested yesterday at a McDonald's and has been charged with murder. Prosecutors are beginning to take steps to bring him back to New York. Environment and Climate Change Canada has released its annual top 10 list of the country's most impactful weather stories. Top events include the devastating wildfire in Jasper, remnants of hurricane season affecting Quebec, Ontario, and Atlantic Canada, and a January deep freeze that hit Western Canada. Meteorologist Jennifer Smith says those events should remind Canadians climate change is a present reality.
Destructive wildfires in both the east and the west, to abundant summer rainfall in Ontario and Quebec, to scorching Arctic heat, offer vivid examples of these profound and uneven changes.
Other events making the list include an expensive hailstorm in Calgary, as well as wildfires and evacuations in Western Labrador. Last month's Taylor Swift concerts in Toronto had a modest impact on the Ontario economy. A new report from TD Economics says Ontario's recreation and entertainment sector saw spending in November surge by 15% year over year. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, Canucks head coach Rick Tocchet says all-star goalie Thatcher Demko will make his first start of the NHL season tonight when Vancouver hosts the St. Louis Blues. Elsewhere in the NHL, the Edmonton Oilers welcome the Tampa Bay Lightning to Rogers Place. The Oilers are the league's hottest Canadian team right now, with 5 wins in their last 6 games. The Toronto Maple Leafs look to get back on track when they visit the New Jersey Devils tonight. Also tonight, Winnipeg hosts Boston, Calgary visits Nashville. An eventful day for Summer McIntosh. The star swimmer from Toronto won gold in a world record time today at the Short Course World Championships in Budapest, Hungary. The Toronto Raptors say Scotty Barnes will undergo more imaging on his sprained right ankle tomorrow. Barnes sustained the injury in the third quarter of Toronto's 113-108 loss to New York last night. The All-Star missed 3 weeks of action earlier this season with a broken orbital bone. From the Canadian Press, I'm Jason White.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.